All right, welcome back. We are INFR2350, that's Intermediate Computer Graphics in the winter 2021 semester at Ontario Tech University, and it's week 9, part 1 of our broadcast. We're talking about, we're doing Checkpoint 3 today, which is your presentations of your games, your semester projects, your GDW games, your non-GDW games for this week and for kind of up to date. I'm going to stop displaying my video here and put it up on YouTube. So we can do that. All right, and one thing I wanted to talk about again was from an admin perspective, where do we sit? We're sitting at week 9, Checkpoint 3. Next week, we're doing water and particle effects. And then right after that, it's really the exam review. And assignment 4 would have been due 2 weeks from now, but it's going to be due right at the end of semester. So that's what the plan is for this one. So what are we doing today? So we're doing Checkpoint 3. Again, we'll be presenting in reverse order. I gave you the list on Discord, but more or less it's going down from group 15 on down. Again, just to keep your eyes on the prize for assignment 4, that's deferred lighting is due week 12 alongside with your final GDW project. That's what's happening there. But before we get into that, one thing I'd like to talk about really briefly is Ubisoft Next. And I think this is an important thing. Nick mentioned it also on Discord. And if you haven't had a chance to do your, to kind of put together challenge materials, everything closes. 3D art, animation, concept art, programming, and tech art. Everything closes this Sunday at midnight. So this is kind of your last shot at putting something together for the Ubisoft challenge. I wanted to quickly go through the API that they gave us. All right, that's up online. So if you look at up online on Ubisoft Next, this is it right here. You can see that they have different briefs for different things, different kind of aspects of the challenge. The programming brief isn't really complete yet. It's kind of a very high-level overview, but you're able to download the API, which I uploaded for you guys up on Canvas. So you can actually download it and try it out and get kind of comfortable with it over the next couple of days, although you've had more than a month if you knew about the challenge. So for eligibility, you guys are all eligible. And as well as if you're thinking about the programming challenge, again, Sunday 11:59 is when it closes. And that's the one I'm going to be thinking about for you guys. So here is what the API looks like really quickly. If I download it and start it for you guys so you can see it, it's really a 3D kind of framework that they've given you, a very simple one based on GLUT. So if you run this thing, it gives you a very simple scene and it allows you to move around a character with simple animation. So that's what it kind of does for you. So that's kind of what it gives you. They gave you the ability for you to text. They have a sprite that's not animated. They have a sprite that's animated, that kind of stuff here. And it really, what you're working with is in the game test.cpp, that's where all the changes that you can make are running, and you can see how they load sprites. They really look at it frame by frame. So each of these frames, as an example, is each of the frames of animation for the sprites, and they kind of make it work like that. Not sure what the challenge is going to be this year. Every year there's a different challenge using a very similar framework. So take a look at this, familiarize yourself with the framework, and I highly encourage you all, because you're working with a way more difficult framework right now and more complete than the one they've given us here. I encourage you guys all to compete, all to apply to the challenge. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. And I think that there's great opportunities for you guys from an internship. They talk about things like, as an example, what the prizes are. And it's some great stuff that you get a chance to get. Prizes are an internship, or I think it's, and then the other thing is prize money if you lose, which is always good too. So if you look at the programming brief, if you download that, it talks about that detail. So it says, this is kind of very high level, and it's not really what they're looking for. But the big one is all the stuff that they're offering if you have a chance to win. And so again, you have a paid programmer apprentice position at Ubisoft, I think it's worth doing. And one Ubisoft prize pack valued at $300 for first prize. And for finalist prizes, which there are a lot, is you just get the $300. That's nothing wrong with that, right? So I think this is great. And I think it's an opportunity for you guys to put a great thing on your resume, even if you try it and it doesn't work. It's just good practice. You still have next year. You guys are in second year, so there's nothing wrong with trying every single year and having a chance to work at a AAA game studio in Toronto. So that's my dog and pony about UB Next. Any questions or thoughts around that as we're going back to our presentations? Are you interested in doing it? Have you started if you're an artist, have you started putting together your stuff? You should have. You've had the framework for, or the brief for the art and everything else a lot earlier than the programmers. Jonathan says, I've already added a thing to the Pi. It's good. Signed up and started looking at the API. Good. Excellent. Okay, guys, that's really it for what I wanted to share with you. Now it's on you, and I'm going to stop sharing this. And what I want instead, I'm going to kind of dim this down, and I'm going to bring in Zoom for you guys. And I'm looking for Mr. DeLisi, if you can come on board. And you're going to be the one that's going to be presenting first. So come on board, Joseph. We're looking for you, and you can start presenting. Again, one thing to do, let me just put on presentation. You can share your screen now. You can share your screen, and then when you share your screen, one thing to note is you can click the share sound and optimize for video clip buttons. Make sure you do that when you put yourself up live. So Joseph, are you ready? Okay, I'm starting to see your screen.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Joseph DeLisi, and this is going to be my CheckPoint 3 presentation. Here we go. So I'm a non-GDW student. So technically, and I'm going to be by myself. So technically, I'm all the roles. Just a simple overview. Being non-GDW, I'm going to be making like a very simple, basic game that focuses more on the course requirements. It's basically just like a little survival game where you're a little tank, and there's going to be other tanks that are going to be coming towards your location, and you just have to kill them and survive as long as possible. So for the GDW requirements, based on the document, I've implemented basic lighting and as well as deferred lighting. Toggling them, still need to work on, as well as adding multiple lights. I have texturing. It's just very basic. Sorry about that. But I have yet to fully implement all unique textures, as well as toggling. So for post-processing, I have color correction, multiple correction types. Bloom, I still have to work on. Shadow mapping is in there fully, and have for my optional one, I'm going to make a pixelation effect. I have something basic that works, but I may be working on it to make it much more aesthetically pleasing. So for the demo, this is just the basic game. You can move the tank, camera follows it, you can shoot.
We're not seeing anything, eh?
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, make sure you share your whole screen, not just part of your screen.
Oh shit. I thought I to change the screen.
You'd have to stop sharing and then reshare.
There we go. Can you see now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah. So I just thought you can move the tank around and shoot. But I haven't added in the spawning of the enemies just yet. So that's really all it is so far for game mechanics wise. And yeah, that's everything I have.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think there's still a lot for you to do, Joseph, and you missed last checkpoint. So I'm hoping that please connect with me offline. I want to make sure that you're on track for getting everything done for the end. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, if I can get the next one, if you can stop sharing, Joseph, if I get the next one up, that's Group 13, Free World Studio Skybound. If I can get you up now, please.
Hold on.
Hey there. Whenever you're ready. Yeah, I see you guys. Yeah, go ahead. You're coming a little low, though, from a volume perspective. You may want to turn up your volume a little bit.
How's this?
Yep, better.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. Checkpoint 3. So I'm Andy Waterhouse, the General's programmer through Diploma Learning Gameplay Program. I'm Ethan Goldbeck. I'm the technical artist. I'm Jai Gordon, and I'm the audio engineer.
I'm Kadeem Faisal. I'm the lead software engineer and game designer. And we have Hussein, who is our music producer.
So for MBA, as for gameplay, the premise of the game remains the same. A guy named Joe, an average guy, walks through a path meets who seems to be. He gives a man a dollar in exchange for old man reveals he's actually a wizard and opens the bringing Joe into a new world full of phantoms and fragments from the real world, where he must make his way through this unknown land and make it back to the real world. So mechanics, WASD to move, shift to sprint, space to jump, and E to interact. The dynamic of the game. The objective is to traverse the island, so collecting specified objects and completing small tasks to progress. And the aesthetics we went for were like a cartoonish, vibrant fantasy type style. Okay, so let's go off then we're doing. So currently we have a working title screen. We also have a controls panel. We can also exit. I'm not going to do that. I'm not sure if you can have or hear the audio, but we have a narrator going on. You can skip through these to get to the gameplay. As you can see, we have shadow mapping done. That's our most recent addition. Like I said, I don't know if you could hear, we have music working and some sound effects such as walking.
Yeah, music's not coming through, but it's okay.
Okay. So I'm sure we've shown the first island multiple times. We also have the second island done. We currently don't have physics bodies for the
islands on the side, so I can't walk on them. But we are working on the second island. We also have this weird thing where we're kind of floating, but that shouldn't be that too much of an issue.
That's just because of the actual island.
Yeah. And for the third island, we have these floating rocks, which we are going to try to have them moving side to side, and you have to jump on them. And currently, you can jump on them, and they fall after a short timer. And that's all we have for now.
So what's new? We added a bunch of additional models and completely revamped the second island, which is the Tide Island. We added falling pot onto the Fire Island. We added a new title screen, a new intro slide, added shadow mapping, and we added dialogue and more music to the game.
So for our aligned components, just like before, we have lighting, which is ambient, diffuse, specular, etc. We also have tune shading done, and we're going to later change it so it's a post-processing effect, because currently we have it directly done in the shader. We have textures under objects, as you can see. We also have color correction in the second island. There's a cooling effect for a lookup table. We also have bloom. You can see in the first island very well. We also have shadow mapping, as I said. That's our most recent addition. We don't have deferred rendering yet, or shadow mapping is forward rendering, but we are working on deferred rendering currently. We also have a vignette post effect finished, which we're planning on using for things like player health. When you get damaged, there'll be a red vignette. We have that finished, but we haven't tied it to the health yet. So it's done, but not implemented. Thank you for listening.
All right, I think that's really great, guys. I think some of the stuff that you've implemented this time around, especially the shadow maps. Can you put that up again? Can you pull up your game one more sec? Sorry, I know that I'm slowing you guys down, but just your demo. Yeah, just your demo. Sorry, but I really think it makes what a difference the shadow mapping makes for you guys.
Yeah.
I think it made a huge difference. Your UI. Especially this intro part is huge. I think it's much better than what I saw last time. So I think you guys have improved leaps and bounds from what I've seen last time. Just with a few things that you've added in. So so to me, really great work, guys. And I'm looking forward to the final version.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. All right, if I can get the next team, thanks for that, guys. The next team up. Okay, I'm not really hearing anything. Are you guys ready to go? Looks like Am's having some issues, technical issues. Just gonna wait for him to come back on.
Sorry.
There you are. Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Can you hear and see me now?
Yeah, all good now.
Okay. So yeah, we are at with 6 games. Our game is Dan Defense, their Checkpoint 3. I'm in Gillum, the lead software engineer. We also have Jackie Java gameplay programmer and Ryan Suku as technical artist. We have 2 other team members, Jeffrey Lundy and Jignao Zhang. However, there's some course. So a reminder for our game, it's called Dam Defense, the first-person shooter tower defense game, where you're placed atop a dam and have to use your cannon and some special abilities to defend it from wave upon wave of incoming battleships. So you use your cannon to shoot at the enemy ships, just look like the mouse to aim and left like to shoot. If the enemies do enough damage, you lose. You can shoot for higher scores by defeating ships that are further away from the dam. And we have some special abilities like flamethrowers and dive bombing birds. And we're aiming for a kind of bright cartoony visual aesthetic. So for our demo, because we implemented the deferred rendering, but right now it has a lot of visual bugs. You can see our UI is kind of gone. This is what the main game looks like currently. We want to change how the skybox is rendering on everything like that. We just haven't gotten around to making it work yet. The UI is gone, but for some reason it appears that there are particles behind it. Yeah, just lots of visual bugs from implementing the stuff from assignment 3 that we just haven't quite had the chance to fix yet.
And can you do me a favor? Could you reshare
Yeah.
and put on sorry, because it looks pretty choppy. Can I get you to reshare and do it again? Just because the demo looks like it's really you got to turn on the video like for video as opposed to the way you did it. Can you try it again?
Okay, sure. Oh, like
yeah, like reshare. So stop sharing.
What do you mean? Like stop?
Yeah, stop sharing, and then when you stop sharing, when you share again, you're gonna have a button on the bottom left corner where it shows you share for video, and it'll show us a cleaner, smoother video for your game. And then when you want to, so reshare, and on the bottom left, you should see an option that says, share for video, optimize for video and for audio. So we didn't hear anything, and the video is quite choppy.
Okay, it's not letting me do that, and now it's blocking me from screen share, so I'm gonna reload soon.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it is classic Zoom, that's for sure. Sorry, I just wanted to there you are. Okay.
Okay, the optimize for video button is not showing up for me, possibly because I'm on browser, not the desktop.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's the reason why. Okay, no problem. It's fine. So we got a sense of it. Go on. Continue, please.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, lighting is in progress. We have a directional light in there now, which is the main lighting we want to do. However, we don't have it. We have to implement a new skybox that Ryan has made for us and make sure the light matches up to the sun in that skybox and stuff. And we're working on implementing normal mapping so that we can make rim lighting look really good, but that's also still in progress. So we're still just kind of working on that. Texturing is pretty much done. We can turn textures on and off. We might redo a couple of the textures, but from the coding side, it's fully implemented. The color correction, again, we want to change a little bit how we're using it. However, it's pretty much done. The implementation works. We just need to actually use it the right way. For Bloom, we have it in progress. We have Bloom parameters that are variable and can be modified at runtime, including the number of passes. We need to work a little bit on our filters and multi-class blurring to make it work with the like transparent particles. And we need to do the other two types of blurring, the blocks and radial blur still, but all of that's in progress. Shadow mapping, we didn't show it because we found that just regular shadow maps didn't look very good for our scene. So we are in the progress of implementing cascaded shadow map. However, currently we haven't gotten the light frustums right just yet. So nothing is appearing, and we've started work on a toon shading post-processing effect, but don't really anything visually working for that. So yeah, that is all. Thank you for listening.
All right, great. Thank you so much. All right, if I can get the next group up, please. Thanks, Sam.
Hello.
How you doing?
Can you guys?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, good.
Great. So I'm just going to have Alex present the slides. All right. I think we're ready to go here. So, hi everyone. We are getting closer to Retirement Studios, and this is our team. So we have James. He is the technical artist. We have Fred. He is our technical artist, focusing a little bit more on the animation side. We have Alex, who is our lead software engineer. And then we have Anita, who is our game producer, and myself, who is the game designer. We go to the next slide. Birthday Splashback, just a quick rundown for people who have forgotten. It's a third-person dueling game with a unique golden gun mechanic. You earn points by hitting each other with your water guns. So if we go to the next slide, we have our MDA, which is, so the 1v1 game split into different rounds. The third person is combat, but it's a little aggressive because they're just children with water guns. But it takes one shot. You have to reload your gun. That's our golden gun mechanic. And then the gameplay, it's fast-paced, hard to put down is what we're trying to aim for there. We have controller support now. So with dual sticks, the left stick forward and backward will control your forward and backward movement, and the right stick will be for rotation. And yeah, for aesthetics, they're cartoon-based, bright, and fun. We go into our next slide. Okay, so here we have our requirements. So we have our lighting requirements completed. Texturing, as you will see in our later photos and videos, we have that completed as well. We have Bloom in the game. It's in our test scene because we're not really sure like how to utilize it in our actual game. Same with color correction. And shadow mapping is currently just in our test scene, and we're planning on moving that into the final for next week. And then the optional post-processing effect, we chose to do pixelate, but there is a bug when you resize the window, it stretches it really weird. But other than that, I think that's good for this slide. A lot of our time has been spent updating the map. So this black road here is going to be, it's just textureless right now, but when we put we're going to put like a gray texture on it for like gravel or something like that. But yeah, we got a lot of comments on our map saying it was a little bit janky and other comments like that. So we went to the drawing board and redesigned our map. And I think I'll pass it off to Alex here for the demo.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So right now, so scene. I can switch here. It's deferred rendering with the shadows. Um, here, here we have the just the regular scene without deferred rendering. And I can like toggle everything, so no lighting, all these. And our effects. So we have color correction, but right now it's just a random one. We have I have a grain effect as well. We're going to use pixelate for our final one. So, and here's the resizing issue. I'm not really sure why this is happening right now, but I will try to fix that later. And these also work like in the game as well. Here's the pixelation. It's there. And that's it for our demo right now.
All right, great. Thank you for the update. All right, if I can get the next team, which is Group 9. And Group 9, are you here? That is the non-GDW team with no name. Anybody here from Group 9?
Yes, hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Just a sec.
No problem.
Okay, so Emery will be displaying our presentation as he has the demo on his end. He'll be starting that up shortly. A couple of us won't be here. I believe you're familiar with one of our teammates not being here due to medical reasons. He spoke to you.
Yep.
So as soon as Emery has that loaded up, we'll begin.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this is our non-GDW checkpoint 3. So just going over, all of our roles we already have established going on. Jaden and Evan aren't here, one for medical reasons and another for an appointment. Go past this. So, according to all the CG requirements, as a non-GW group, we currently have all the requirements here already implemented. So, going into more gameplay, which we were told before, obviously we needed to show more of like actual substance when it comes to the actual gameplay, not just the the mechanics and the background programming being added, which was for the majority of this semester that was what we were working on. We have a lot of art, and our gameplay programmers have been working hard this past month getting it done. So Emery will now be showing you the game demo and what we have so far.
Emery, we can't hear you if you're speaking. We just see the game.
So I'll just explain it. So
Yeah, go
basically,
ahead.
the concept is a tower defense game, right? And I believe, Emery, you're able to go into more detail regarding the programming specifics.
Yeah, I can keep on going. I forgot I was muted. Sorry. So what I was going to say was yeah, this is a tower defense game. Right now, the actual art for our game isn't in there yet, so me and Evan were prototyping with just what we had with us. So this isn't a full representation of what our game's going to be, but right now we do have enemies able to spawn and go through the waypoints that we have set up. The towers are able to shoot the enemies, and we have different types of towers. One to shoot the enemy with projectiles, and one that will create an AoE effect and damage multiple enemies at the same time within a certain radius. As you can see, we have some shadows. A little closer there, so you can see them. And we still have not all that much as of yet. We're still, of course, working on it since last week. So we will be putting in a lot more, also putting in menus and other things. But for now, this is what we have. And we also have a directional. We also have the ability to put in multiple lights and changing parameters and stuff like that. So we should have something really cool to show a little bit later.
Okay, that's great. That's at least a step forward in terms of any kind of demo. But it looks like I see the shadows and everything else, which is good. Go on.
That's everything we have for
that was
the
Awesome. Okay, that's great. Thank you. All right, if I can get the next group, which is, it looks like group 8, also a non-GDW group, whenever you're ready.
All right, hello. Can I be heard?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
How many Japan Raja?
I'm An Chen, and we finally have a title. Our game is named Endless Space. Our roles have largely been unchanged. Artie is still the main programmer, and I'm helping out as well as doing other non-programming related. So we're still keeping it simple. To reiterate, we're making an endless runner where a player controls the spaceship and avoids obstacles. As the game progresses, the shuttle speeds up and more obstacles show up. We're still keeping everything pretty simple. So we'll have a spaceship, planets, anything that makes up a spaceship or space themed game. We haven't put it in yet, but the new space shuttle is done, and it's like this.
So for our computer graphics requirement, we're obviously using Otter Engine. Lighting and texturing is still in progress. We just added in directional lighting and texturing. We're still coming up with models and textures for the game, so that's still in progress. For post-processing effects, we have color correction, so grayscale, sepia, and one cool custom color correction is already implemented. Bloom is still in progress. We've implemented Gaussian blur, but we still need to do box blur and radial blur. We've implemented shadow mapping, but it's still in progress because there's some really strange issues that are happening, and I'll show that more in the demo. For our optional shader, we've implemented bone grain.
We also have a pixelation effect on the death, and I'll show that in the demo. And so I'll show the demo now. So this is our scene now. So we have shadow mapping, but as you can see, there's some really strange issues that are happening. So that obviously needs to be addressed. We still have our bloom effect, film grain effect, custom or color correction, so grayscale, sepia, and our warm, cool, and custom separation. And obviously the main course of the feedback was start gamifying. So we have code detection, so when you die, you have pixelation effect that gets more pixelated over time. And our next step is obviously to add replayability to make it an actual endless runner and to replay the game when you die. And yeah, that's our demo and our presentation, so hopefully you enjoyed.
That's great progress. Thank you. All right, if I can get the next group up, please. That's High Keaton Games, Play Chase, Group 7, whenever you're ready. I can see you, but yeah, you're coming in a little low. If you can speak up a little bit more.
Oh, better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, sorry. So we're High Keaton Games for Checkpoint 3. Your group members as usual. We have our team. And just to refresh you, Play Chase is kind of like a maze game. You're crawling around these place tubing, like McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese, trying to collect all these coins and escape. So the mechanics, we've gone through this, so we'll just speed up past it and just show you the demo to begin with and talk about some of the components. So while the demo is loading, we have implemented now different lighting and shadow mapping. We've added bloom. We've added another few like post-processing effects like pixelization and film grain. Our bloom is working well. We have some toggles. We need to add toggles for some more things also, and add some more light sources. But for the most part, we are done most of the components. So if we look here, pop that up. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's also sound. But right now, here it is with all of its lighting. So the enemy is coming for us. So I'm gonna pause him for now, so we're not running away constantly. So if we look here, we have a pixelization effect. We have a night vision effect. We have film grain. Yeah, and with each effect, we can access a different set of controls. So for pixelization, we can edit that. Same with night vision, we have controls for that. Same with film grain. So if we just go back to our, so this is how it looks normally. We keep the blue one because it looks kind of nice. So we can also stack color grading on top of that. So we have a warm, cool, little custom one here, little like high saturation, high contrast, and we can turn that off. So yeah, some of our toggles kind of broke when we added deferred rendering. So we're going back to fix those and add those in. But for now, this is our demo. And that is it for our review, Checkpoint 3.
Great, thanks so much. Much better. I actually see what you're doing. I think it's the effects you've added in really make your game like. I understand what you're doing now. Before I was trying to figure out how your game was working and how it's going to work, but now it's really coming together. So really great work. Thank you. If I can get the next group, so that's Raw Chicken Productions with Project Poultry. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, hello.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So we are Roger Productions. This is our checkpoint 3. So I myself, am Tyler Wong. I'm the game producer and Java programmer. We have Christian Ridgey, our technical artist and audio engineer. Aidan Gimple, our lead software engineer and gameplay programmer. And last but not least, Jocelyn Terrain, our game designer and our technical artist. So our game is Project Poultry. Just to reiterate, our game is a 3D puzzle game where you take control of half robot, half chicken, and drumstick. After a several attempt, Drumstick has finally escaped the factory that he was raised in. Involving logic puzzles open the door, Drumstick must leave the facility and complete all his puzzles and escape as many rooms as he could. And our themes are focusing around science fiction, exploration, problem solving, and mystery. We're going to get into our demo. Yeah. Okay. So in our demo, we have our basic level 1. What we added new was we made every ambient object have a physics collision except for the wires. We fully fledged out the levels by putting in all our other assets in, and we're currently in the process of making new assets specifically for the store frame over here. But we can also have an interactable tablet where the player can interact with it, so we read more about the lore and how the gates work. Pressing the button allows the button to open up the door and proceed to the next level. We also have our post-processing effects over here. The main sepia, grayscale, and color correct effects. We have film grain, which we are planning on using as our optional shader, more so in terms of like a security camera almost. So it's adding this to sort of see that effect as you're looking through something in factory. We also have our fixed blade effect, and we have our balloon. We're also in the progress of working another level currently. So after this level, I can block this over here. We're in the process of making at least 2 to 3 more levels. So as you can see over here, we've started planning out the base levels. We just need to add detectors for this, re-add all the logic and everything for it, etc. Shadow mapping as well. That on the side, being a web programmer. Currently, his Wi-Fi down, so we can't really work on that right now. But that is in the works. So that's it for the demo so far. Get back to the presentation. Yeah. So for MDA mechanics, we walk in the tracking buttons in the world between the wires that lead to logic gates. The player can walk through the door once the puzzle is complete, and the player can also interact with the tablets that are floating around for some levels to provide just some extra clarity along with some of the lore that we have in the game. For the dynamics, we have ABB collision with the player and ambient objects around the scene, and the player can play object interaction by pressing the buttons and using the tablet. And for the aesthetics, our game is focused around the challenging narrative, being the logic gate puzzles, as well as the lore that we're trying to weave in with the game itself. The player can also experience more of discovering fantasy, pertaining to our sci-fi theme, as well as the curiosity sensation involving the for procedure requirements, we have our essentials completed. The lighting is currently in progress still. We've been playing around with the lighting for the scenes in every level since like the beginning. That's something that we still have to really dial down and focus on. Our texturing is complete. We have color correction and bloom. Like I mentioned before, shadow thing is currently in the works. We're trying to grind that for Friday so we can show that in the video. And finally, our film grain optional effect shader. And yeah, that's our checkpoint.
Yeah, lots of progress, guys. Like huge compared to last time what you showed. Lots of additional work that you put into it. Again, looking forward to seeing how the shadow mapping is going to make a huge difference for you, I think. So again, looking forward to seeing that in your final build. But great work, thank you. If I can get to the next group, that's BitDisk, Project Dragon. Whatever you got, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Okay, can't really. No, I can't really hear you, so I'm not sure if you're coming through yet, but no sound.
Is that better?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, my mic got unplugged at one point. We did take it out when I plugged it back in. So you can see my screen all fine?
Yeah, everything's good.
All right. So I'm Noah from Fitness Interactive Studios. It's our presentation for Checkpoint 3. So for our team members, there is Robson Boschweit. He is our general and mostly has been working on audio. There is myself, the lead software engineer. There is Clark Parrott, who is the game producer, and he also did a decent amount of programming. There is Mitchell Block, who is our game designer, and he's doing a lot of the world stuff. And there is Alan Dong, who is. So what is Project Dragon? I'll just go over this quickly because we've already done it twice. So it's a magic-based first-person shooter, and we're taking a lot of inspiration from like old Kung Fu movies and Kung Fu video games, such as Enter the Dragon and Mortal Kombat, respectively. And our basic story is that an ancient force is summoning elemental monsters to destroy Shaolin Temple. And our big hook is randomly generated levels for infinite replayability. So a quick MDA. So for our mechanics, pretty much our full gameplay loop has been completed. So it works pretty much endlessly. So you could just play endlessly as long as you don't die. And all of our weapons are implemented except one, which was giving me a little bit of trouble. For the dynamic, that's still the same. We have randomly generated levels. And for our aesthetic, we're still planning for a general cartoonish art style. And we have element-based designs for the enemies. And again, the environment is inspired by like old Kung Fu movies. So our current progress on our aligned components is our lighting is basically completed. I think we're missing rim lighting, but other than that, our lighting is finished. Our texturing is completed. Our post-process color grading is finished. Our bloom is sort of working. I can tell there's the threshold working, but I still haven't had the time to get the blur working, but I think we'll be able to do that very quickly. The shadow mapping is in progress. So I got it to right to the depth buffer, but it wasn't casting to the shadows. It wasn't like properly casting the shadows in the final render. So that's still in progress on for now. And our tune shading is sort of in progress because when I changed the shaders to the shadows, it stopped working. But we have all the stuff set up, so I just have to port that to the new shaders. And now it's time for the demo. So I'll just launch it. Takes a little while to we have a lot of assets. It's not as bad as in release mode, but it's still in debug. Oh, it crashed. Give me one quick second here. It should be good now. I forgot to comment something out.
Are you sharing it, Noah, or?
Yes, I'm just getting it launched. I had a small issue that I had to change. close. I've been having a couple issues with my computer recently, so running a bit slower than I would like. So yeah, so we I think last time we had some issues with the textures for these, so we changed the UVs. That one's still kind of a little broken, but as you see, we have a bunch of lights here. Can't see it because it's not working properly, but we are like rendering this with depth buffer and stuff. And right now I don't have many of the post-processing effects enabled, but they are all in the code. I just haven't turned them on because they weren't like working as intended. But all the color correction works. The bloom sort of works, but it was really impacting performance. So I got rid of it for now, but it is in the code, right? It is in the code, it's just not currently in the scene. And all the stuff is set up for toggles. We just haven't done that yet because we need to find a way that we can toggle it that makes more sense with the gameplay. But also, I'll just show a full gameplay loop here. So that's just to show where your shots are landing, because people were complaining in our, or not complaining, they gave us feedback in our playtest that we've done that we need a bit more feedback. So like we are working also on skeletal animation, which is not a requirement for this class, so I didn't specifically mention that during the presentation. But I have a test project where I'm working on getting skeletal animation, because we were doing morph animation and it was taking a very, very long time to load. So there's still a couple collision bugs that I'm working on. Just have to find what the last enemy is so I can show you like sort of full loop, but where it is. I don't know if it's running a bit slow on, I don't know how choppy the presentation is, if it's choppy at all.
It's pretty choppy, but I think it's only because the way you're sharing.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, and well, crashed apparently. I've been having that issue when I change something around, but
okay.
Yeah, that's what we have.
All right, thanks, Noah. And thank you, BitDisk. I'm looking for Harmonic Industries next.
Hello.
RPG.
I will share my screen. Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. So we are Harmonic Industries, and this is our presentation for checkpoint number 3. This is our team. Roy is our programmer level designer. Harry's our gameplay programmer level designer. I'm the lead software engineer and project manager. Madden's our game designer, and Joey is our technical artist. Once again, it's a game that combines a turn-based RPG with a racing game. So it's a nice mix. You play cards, you break, you shift gears. That's the game. This is how our game looks right now. It's all controlled with mouse. We are now planning on using this pixel filter in our final game. We haven't exactly decided on the value yet, but we're thinking just around how it looks in that screenshot right there. And so for our aligned components, the modern OpenGL is complete. Lighting is in progress. We still need to add spotlights along the track, and we moved it to deferred rendering recently. So our lighting toggles aren't working properly right now, but we'll be able to change that soon. Texturing is complete. For our post-processing effects, color correction is complete. Bloom is in progress. We just need to add still a box blur and our radial blur. Shadow mapping is in progress. It's not really working right now. Most of the shadow mapping code is in our game. It's just not working. And then for optional post-processing effect, we're going with the pixel shader. It's pretty much complete. We might tweak our implementation, but we're pretty happy with the results we're getting from it right now. So I will show you the game now. Right up. So this is our game. I have it mentioned here. This is with one of our color correction effects applied. So I'll disable everything. This is pretty much how the game looks, just without any effects. Once we moved it to the deferred rendering, we kind of had to change our glowing color effect, so it looked a little bit different, but we got it pretty close to how it looked in the original one. For whatever reason, the code wouldn't just directly transition over, so we had to kind of change it up a bit. But for our intended look, we're going to have the bloom on. We're going to have the color correction set to this one, which makes things more saturated and darkens it. Then we're going to adjust our pixelation to probably about a value of 4 is what we're thinking. We think it fits the aesthetic. It kind of gives it like, you know, the PS1, Game Boy Advance kind of 3D look. And all our effects here, they all chain into each other. So you can add night vision, blur, adjust all that. One of the things we actually might do soon, just for debugging purposes, is add a way in IMGUI to reorder the effect, just so we can play around with what happens if, you know, you blur it before, you bloom after. We want to experiment on how that works with our effects. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much our game. We can play a few turns here. This is getting changed up soon too. Our gearbox here. But like the playing the cards and all that is pretty much how it is. The big difference in the look from now to our final version is probably going to be the implementation of spotlights. Right now we just have the one directional light that you can control there. You can display your G buffer, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but we hope to change how our lighting works, make sure that the shadows work, and that's really our next major thing we got to do before it's finished up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone.
Great work. Thank you for that. All right, continue with what you're doing. Looking forward to seeing how everything is going to blend together. All right, the next group is Meteor Night Studios. If I can get you up. Bloody Melon.
Hello?
Yep.
Oh, ah. Oh, wait, sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Oh, so hello. We are Media Night, and this is our game. We are introducing our game, Bloody Melon. So this is our team. Okay, so just a quick review of our game. So basically, Bloody Melon is just a 3D side-scrolling shooting game, and like a metal slug, and then players will die at one hit, and they can shoot seeds to eliminate the enemy on their path. So at this moment, we are still working on the lighting. We just finished, but like most of them does not implement into the game yet, since we didn't have all the enemies implement into the game. The camera setting is still in progress. It works, but it just needs some improvement on that. But basically, we finished all the post process effect right there. For example, we finished the color correction. It's done, but like we just didn't implement into the game yet. But we have the bloom effect, the pixelation effect, and the frame grain effect done. The shadow mapping is also finished, but it's still a little bit weird at this time, and we are continuing to working on that. So let's go to our game demos here. So for this moment, in order to tackle the different settings, we are just using a debug screen right here. So this is all the effects that we have at this point. For example, this is the pixelation effect. This is the bloom effect, and this is the frame grain effect. So as you can see, the shadow is a bit weird at this moment, and it will basically just disappear when the character gets passed through certain points, right? And in our game, we can also switch the toggles between each scene. For example, we can just show the position buffer, the normal buffer, and the color buffers of the game. And yeah, that's basically what we have at this moment right now. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's a more comprehensive demo than last time. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, if I can get the next group, JPEG, let's group 2, Mecha Mayhem, whenever you're ready. Jin, if I can get you to stop sharing.
I should get the slides now. There we go.
I see it.
Yeah, we're ready for you. You're
Is my
coming
mic working?
You're coming a little choppy. Go ahead.
I heard your mic, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. We can start.
Matthew, you're going to do it.
Yeah, all right. Okay. So we're JPEG. This is Mecha Mayhem for Checkpoint 3. All right, so here are our group members. JJ is the lead software engineer. Matthew North is the gameplay programmer. Matthew McPherson, that's me, I'm the game designer. Brian Ching is the technical artist. Leo is the programmer / sound designer. And the other Jonathan is our other technical artist. So the overview hasn't changed since last time, but here's a quick reminder. Our game is Mecha Mayhem. It's a third-person shooter, couch party, arena brawler, 2 to 4 players on split screen. The game takes place within a mechanical simulation where robots fight each other to see who is the winner. And our theme is simulated combat. So for our mechanics, we have basic stuff, jumping, punching, shooting. We also have a dash ability, which lets you zoom around. And the weapons are all limited ammo. You have to swap to a new gun. For dynamic, it's an arena brawler where everyone is aiming to beat anyone else as many times as possible. And for aesthetic, we have a variety of different characters with different art styles, some more detailed, some more wacky, and players can choose their favorite. And it takes place in a world that's heavy duty and metallic. All right. Off to the demo.
Okay, not hearing any sound.
I think you're muted, JJ.
No.
I just realized I was muted. Sorry for that. Yeah. So the main menu, there's a depth of field effect. Okay. There's a depth of field effect, and you can see the shadows in the map behind everything. You can see that it's a lot of Peter Panning because of how big the shadow map is, because there's one map for the entire level. We also added a thing where you can overlay a different color on each character for separation when there's multiple people with the same model. But for now, I just want to showcase the tutorial because this example of shadows. All objects are able to cast shadows. Right now, there's no transparency, but we want to change it so that the lasers are transparent again. We also started using sprites in game, so that's a damage counter. You can still pick things up as normal. UI still the same, but you can also edit the specular power so you can be more with shadows now. Same effect as before, so pixelation, you can add that. You can layer them, and we added this depth of field effect, which just lets you create a depth of field band according to the depths. That does cause it to have a weird, like, laser feel because of how yes, I'll showcase how the shadows look like blurs, and yeah, so there's shadows everywhere, and there are shadows being cast on the player. I do hear from being able to cast shadows onto themselves, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that while still letting the players cast shadows onto the floor. Yeah, everything has that. There's a lot of Peter Pan right now. And yeah. So when it comes to, oh, yeah, that's where I was running it. Anyway, when it comes to CG requirements, where we just want to do some emissive and rim lighting. We're still not sure how we're going to get that to work, but now we have the G buffers. We can use normal data. When it comes to textures, we have new textures as seen in the map, and when it comes to all the post-processing effects, we have quite a few and enough to those requirements. And yeah, that should be about it.
So again, for you guys, again, a lot of more gameplay than I saw last time, that's for sure. I'm happy that you went with all the changes. And yeah, I mean, I think, go on.
I skipped a few gameplay changes because time. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. But I think that the stuff that you're showing me is like, again, much improved from last time. So great work, great progress. I'm looking forward to the, again, to your final version. Look and see what you can do, but really cool stuff. Thank you. All right. The last group, Baby Phoenix and Blazark. And group one, are you ready to go?
Yeah, 1 second.
No problem.
Just let me set up. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. We're Baby Phoenix. Our game is Blazark. This is checkpoint 3 for CG. This is our team. My name's Sean. I'm the game producer. We have the LSE to Murnog, the general programmer and gameplay programmer for IE, and gameplay programmer for Thrawn, and technical artist for Kimberly. Of course, the game or what it is hasn't changed, but I'll say it again in case for you guys, just as a reminder.
The sole survivor of the Universe 19 Defense Force, you task yourself with combating the spreading terror of the Quinces as they proceed to leech the life from every universe they invade. Travel across the multiverse, save brainwashed aliens, and survive collapsing time-space to ultimately destroy the Quinces leader and return balance to the multiverse. Berserk is an action-adventure RPG with a fast-paced, retro game experience that takes inspiration from classics such as Galaga and Star Fox. Berserk has some controls and mechanics, making the game easy to and accessible to most players, yet the competitive scoreboards encourage efficiency, making the game hard to master, keeping in touch with its arcade ancestry. So for its mechanics, there's MDA. By this far in, of course, we wouldn't want to change any of it, but for mechanics, there's moving, shooting, surviving, using the abilities, destroying enemies, defeating universe bosses, which is pretty much like a level per level. The dynamics, the left trigger is to move the player, right trigger to shoot. Move the player forward, and then right trigger is to shoot. Left joystick is to rotate left or right, like the camera. And then the following buttons are for abilities. The game is focused primarily on the challenge with its twist of fantasy, traveling across the multiverse, and then discovering those undiscovered territory. We want the player to feel excited and feel fulfilled for what they're doing from both the scoreboard and their progress around the map. For the aligned components, we haven't gotten a missive yet, but we have started working a little more towards our optimal shader now, which is the Fresnel shader, which is fairly similar to what RIM is. It's part of the lighting, in terms of like visually. So, but yeah, shadow mapping we haven't worked much on right now because most of since the last checkpoint, we've kind of just been focusing primarily on the gameplay aspect of our game instead of the engine. But considering for what we have left, our really biggest thing to see from what we have right now is just the shadow mapping. But in terms of progress from what we had before, we have Bloom done, and we already had everything else done prior to this. Prior to the section between last checkpoint and now. I can show you guys the game demo. I have to stop sharing. Can you guys see the window? Click in.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is our start screen, not our menu, but it's our start screen. Press enter or any button to really start it. You can see that we're flying around the first universe right now. In terms of gameplay aspect, you can see that there's some rotations between the sun, the planets, and they have their own individual rotations as well. So it's a full out solar system. You have some, you can see some of the AI moving right now. This is obviously they're not placed yet, but they're set up in a way where they're randomly placed around objects that are in the universe. So, for example, this right now, this it's right now spawned around the sun planet, but it's perfect. It's already arranged so that we can spawn in the other planets around the other planets. There's shooting done. So if you shoot it, it disappears. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. We're working on other things right now for more towards the gameplay aspect of things, just so that we can just flesh out more of the game. But yeah, you'll see more on Friday in terms of what we've done for the coding aspect of things. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you for that. All right, guys, that concludes checkpoint 3. That's pretty awesome. Lots of stuff we saw today in terms of improvements. I'm really happy with the improvements that you've shown. You know, I think that you guys are stepping closer to where we need to go to. I'm glad that that you guys are moving in the right direction. I guess some teams again are more focused on gameplay at this point than others compared to the requirements. But I think the things that I saw that really made things pop, and I know we're running just a little bit over time, and I apologize, are shadows really make a difference. I'm glad that you're playing with the technology. I see a lot of the pixel effect as your optional effect. That's fine as long as it makes sense. I'm for it. If the effect you're choosing is just to meet the requirements, I would move away from that and go to something that makes sense for your game more than anything else, right? So focus on those things. But otherwise, I think that I'm really happy with the way things are going forward. All right. So sorry, Jonathan, you had something to mention. Double face technique for shadows. Thank you for that. Okay. So again, you know, really. I see a lot of progress and thank you so much guys for doing that. So I'm really happy with it. And again, I posted the video on Discord, so that way if you wanted to check it out later and you know, see your progress, I want to try and do this a couple times so that way we can always look back and see where you were as of this checkpoint compared to what you were at the end. And that's what I use the checkpoints for as well, to actually see progress. So we actually do look back at the videos that I've made previous to this to see what it's looking like from, you know, for each of your checkpoints and what you're showing me, right? So it's super important. So guys, otherwise, thank you so much for this. Again, next week when we get back, water effects, particle effects, we're going to be detailing that, but that's it for this week. And again, one last plug for Ubisoft Next before you go. Please don't forget to try this out. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys. So thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Take care.